Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. Today is June the 3rd, it is a Thursday, so hopefully your trading weeks are going well so far. So my name is Becky, my email address is there, becky@tradictive.com. Let me just hide away, but there it is today. The camera's not working today, so that's my email address, becky@tradictive.com. There's also this link here, tradewithufos.com/Becky. So let's just bring that up. That will bring you to here. And with this, you can set up a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top here. With that, you'll be able to get the email that I'm about to go through. That will come through to you every day. You'll get reminders of the YouTube sessions that we do, as well as recordings of the YouTube sessions that we do. If you come down a little bit here, you can book one-to-one coaching with me if you'd like from this link. But you also, and this is what I prefer that you do, you can ask questions in a public setting once you have your free membership. Now, why is that important? It's important because if you send us an email, whether that's me or to the support email address, of course we'll help you, of course we will respond to that. However, if it's in public, then other people see the answer as well, which means you might have a question that if you scroll down, somebody else has already asked and you've got that answer there. Or it might be that the question that you have is new, in which case by putting it here and we answer it here, other people later down the line are getting help from that, are getting the answer from that. So ideally that's where you'd come to ask questions, but of course you can email if you'd really like to. Right, so let's go through the disclaimers. Let's just make sure they're being highlighted there. They are coming up there on the top. Of course, important for legal reasons to read them and to understand them. Basically, these videos are demonstrations for you to decide whether or not you want to do it. You can ignore it entirely, you can take it on board, it's totally up to you, but these are demonstrations of how we do things. So, speaking of, this is what we go through. So this is an email that you'll get every day once you're a member. And this email goes to markets in the world and gives you information on 3 different elements, hence why we call it a 3D approach. So you'll have, first and foremost, we highlight that, market climate, upcoming market direction, up or down, meaning should we buy or sell, should we go long or short. Sometimes the market climate tells us that there's not enough probabilities either way, in which case we do nothing. But that's the first thing we need to be answering when we're trading is, should I be buying or selling or doing nothing? Where do I have probabilities? Now we use this app down here, Auto Climate, and it shows us, ignore the lines for now, just focus on the dots. It shows us in a series of dots what the probabilities are. So it's very simple. If it's a thick blue dot, that tells us probability upwards, which means we should probably be looking to buy. If it's a thick red dot, that tells us probability downwards, we should be looking to sell. If it's a thin dot, so again ignore the lines and don't worry about the color, when they're thin, it means not enough probabilities either way, do nothing. So we use a piece of technology, which by the way, AutoClimate is a free app. You can get that once you've got your free Trade with UFOs membership, you can get that downloaded. It's a free app that runs through market data for us and comes back and tells us where probabilities are. So we don't have to analyze it. We have technology helping us out there and showing us where the probabilities lie. Then we want to understand entries and exits. Where are we going to buy? Where are we going to sell? For that, we use UFOs or unfilled orders. That's what these little flying. We have green ones, like this one here, and we have red ones, like this one here, and they highlight the prices as well. Now, what these do is tell us where we have stacks of buy orders, those are the green ones, or stacks of sell orders, those are the red ones. Now, why is that helpful to know? Well, if we have lots of buying going on down here, for example, we want to buy there too. If we buy with lots of buyers, it's much more likely to beat the sellers and push price up. If we sell with loads of sellers, where the sell orders are, it's much more likely to beat the buyers and push price down. So we want to get in and out at the places where, again, we have an app, a piece of technology, showing us we have better probability. So AutoUFOs will highlight for us on the right hand side the prices as to where specifically we have buy and sell orders. So we use that as well. Then we're going to look at volatility for each market. Usually the quicker the market moves, which is essentially what volatility means, the quicker the market moves, the higher the risk. also can mean you get a higher reward. So bear that in mind, not a good or bad thing. It depends how you feel about risk tolerance and about volatility, but we'll look into that per market as well. So let's get started. The first market we're going to look at is the ES, which is the S&P 500. Now the S&P 500 is the top US 500 stocks. And we're looking at futures contracts for each of these. So we're looking at essentially representations of it. And we're looking at daily charts for each of them. Of course, different things happen on different time frames. We are looking at daily charts specifically. Now, if you don't understand what futures are, don't worry, just understand we are looking at a representation of US stocks at the moment. So, with that, we have a confirmed upwards climate. That's literally just, by the looks of it actually, so you might notice that's a little bit hard to see. It's literally just turned into a thin dot. When it's a thick blue dot, that's when it's confirmed. When it's a thin dot, means not confirmed, meaning we don't have enough probabilities either way. So we've actually just lost probability to the upside, which kind of makes sense because usually this market would go up for 9 candles and we'd come to candle number 9. So we'd come to the end of what would be a usual move to the upside. And we're seeing price push back against us here and come back down a little bit. And so we've now just lost probability upwards. So overall at the moment, not actually enough probabilities either way. We do have buy orders beneath us at 41.85 to 41.42.50, and price has already worked a little bit, pushing it up there. We'll need to see whether or not there's enough orders there to continue to push it upwards and maybe reconfirm the climate to the upside, or whether or not price is going to keep coming down and change to a downwards climate. For the time being, hard to call because we don't have probabilities on our auto climate. So just need to see whether or not these orders are strong enough to keep pushing price up. With volatility, we'd expect in a year that the S&P would move up or down 17.94%. That means in a day it would move up or down of 47.39 points, in a week up or down of 104.32 points, and in a month up or down of 217.16 points. So that's the S&P. Overall, not enough probabilities to call it with the climate. We have buy orders beneath us, so we would expect them to push the price up, but we don't have as much probabilities as we'd like to be placing a trade. So we'll have to see how that pans out over the next day or so. Now moving on to the next market, which is oil. In the meantime, we have courses that you can check out. Courses in stocks, futures, forex, trading plans, backtesting, psychology. So if any one of those is something that you want to learn, you can go and do that on our website. Also, even if you're not particularly fussed about doing a course, it might be helpful for you if you are interested in the UFOs, because UFOs are $34 per month on TradingView, for example. Different amounts of money on different platforms, but for TradingView, they're 30. If you take a course, you get 3 months complimentary access. So 3 months access for free. And some of the courses are $34 one-off payment, or $89 one-off payment, which means it makes sense to do a course and get the UFOs for free for 3 months. It's cheaper than going straight into the UFOs. So bear that in mind. Okay, so with oil, we have a confirmed upwards climate. So here we have a thick blue dot, probability upwards. So confirmed upwards climate, probability up. Now usually the market goes up for 7 candles. I know that says 6.47, I'm just rounding up there. So it goes up for 7 candles, and we're on candle number 7. So we are coming to the end, or we have come to the end of what would be a usual move upwards. That's not to say that we can't surpass that. Of course we can. We can fall short of what's normal, we can go past what's normal. What's important is to know where the probabilities lie. So for the time being, we still have probabilities up, and we have buy orders literally just being formed beneath us, 68.87 to 65.25. Now, if and when we hit the stack of sell orders at 72.70 to 70.64, we would expect those sell orders to push price downwards. For the time being though, we are within buy orders, so we're inside the stack of buy orders, that's buying pressure, and we've still got probability up with our thick blue dot there on the climate. So yes, we may have reached the end of what's usual, but we still have overall probability up. Not as much as we'd like than if it was, say, on the first or second candle out of 7, but still probability up overall here with crude oil. Now, we would expect in 1 year on oil that it would move up or down 32.77%. That means in 1 day, up or down of 1.42 points, in 1 week, up or down of 3.13 points, and in 1 month, up or down of 6.51 points. So overall there with crude oil, probability upwards for the time being. When we hit this stack of sell orders, look to see whether or not that changes. Now moving on to the next market, which is gold. As it says here as well, by the way, you can subscribe directly to the UFOs. You don't have to do a course. Like I said, it could be cheaper for you to do a course in order to get access to the UFOs for a slightly cheaper price. If not, you can subscribe directly if you'd like to. Okay, so gold. Now this is a perfect example of what we were just saying, that of course sometimes we go past what is usual. Gold has a confirmed upwards climate, a thick blue dot there, but it's on 2 out of a usual 6.09. I'm going to round that up again, so 6.09, we're going to round that to 7. So usually it goes up for 7 candles, and we're on candle number 22 to the upside. So of course we've gone way past what's usual there with gold, which means we're way more likely to see it change direction as opposed to see it continue in that way. Now when it comes to buy and sell UFOs, we have sell orders up here, 1962.5 to 1938.4. Now I'm pretty sure we did have a UFO round about here, and it looks like price is reacting to that and being pushed down from that point, which again is not surprising. That's what we expect sell UFOs to do, is push price down. We have buy UFOs here at 1847.1 to 1808.4. Now, like I said, we do have still for the time being probability upwards, but I would be more inclined to say it's likely to be pushed down and change direction, become unconfirmed or a confirmed downwards climate in the next couple of days. So for the time being, like I said, probability up, not as much as we'd like, and more likely to change direction anyway. Now when it comes to volatility, we'd expect in 1 year that gold would move up or down of 15.65%. That means in 1 day, up or down of 18.72 points. In 1 week, up or down of 41.20 points. And in a month, up or down of 85.77 points. So like I said, overall with gold, I know it's a confirmed upwards climate, but more likely to change direction in the near future, I would say. Okay, so just to say here, if you need coaching and support, we obviously offer it for free on YouTube. You're probably watching it for free on YouTube or Facebook. But there's also a closed coaching community, which is $21 per month, which gives you access to more of our time in a closed environment. The content's pretty much the same, but it's being able to have access to our time in a more closed environment, and you get more of our time than what we put out on YouTube. Okay, so moving on to the next market, which is, let's just move this down, there we go, the US dollar. The US dollar is probably the most important one to be aware of. Even if you don't trade any of these markets, this one will have the most impact when it comes to correlations. US dollar is responsible for about 80% of transactions worldwide every single day, so be aware of it even if you don't trade it. So confirmed downwards climate here, thick red dot, probability downwards. Usually this market would go down for 6 candles, and we're on candle number 5. So again, coming to the end of what is usual in terms of a move to the downside. Now, something that could definitely change this, and looks like it already is, are our UFOs. We have a UFO here at 89.795 to 89.165. That's a stack of buy orders. These buy orders have already pushed price up once. When price came in, hit the top line of that, hit a stack of buy orders and moved up from there. It came back down, hit the stack of buy orders, went up, came back in, went up, came back in, went up. So what buy orders do is push price up, which is why it's really helpful for us to know exactly which prices they sit at. That's why we use the UFOs there to tell us this. So more recently, it's pushing price upwards. So if it continues to push price upwards, we may see a change in climate. However, it may come up and hit this stack of sell orders, which is 90.91 to 90.575. If it hits that stack of sell orders, we'd expect them to push price back down again. So for the time being, still probability to the downside. Look to see what happens with this latest movement that's come from the UFO. if it pushes price up past this UFO and changes the climate to the upside, or whether or not it's just a small bounce before it hits more sell orders and moves down from there. Now, volatility, we would expect in 1 year movement up or down of 6.01%. That means in 1 day, 0.34 points up or down. In a week, 0.75 points up or down. And in 1 month, 1.56 points up or down. So that's the US dollar. Last market now is Bitcoin. So back to Bitcoin, let's take a look at this. Now, of course, Bitcoin, no surprise there that we have a confirmed downwards climate. Let's just switch us down a little bit. We can see our UFOs as well. Confirmed downwards climate, not surprising, we know this, right? Thick red dot, probability downwards. Now, we don't know how long this market usually goes down for. It's not old enough yet to have data on a daily chart to say this usually happens. So in the dark with that, but for the time being, of course, we are on a trajectory downwards. Now we have buy orders here at 27,782.5 to 22,910. We have sell orders up here, 51,782.5 to 46,807.5. And we're kind of in the middle there at 38,800. So there's room for this market to move reasonably aggressively because it doesn't have orders close by to stop it. So bear that in mind. It's already a volatile market. Bitcoin or cryptos in general are more volatile than other markets. Not a good or bad thing, just is what it is. Be aware of it if you trade it. But with UFOs further apart, that could increase volatility. At the moment, the volatility would be expected in 1 year that it moves up or down of 100.17%, which means in 1 day, a movement up or down of 2,477.35. In 1 week, up or down of 5,453.64. And in 1 month, up or down of 11,352.65. So again, these are reasonably big moves that are happening in reasonably short periods of time. If you're on the right side of that, that's brilliant. If you're on the wrong side of that, not so brilliant. So just be aware of it, manage your risk. You should be managing your risk anyway. All of these things that we go through is about probability, not definites. So manage your risk anyway, but particularly with a highly volatile markets, be particularly cautious, I would say. So if you have any questions, you can self-schedule a clarification call. Talk to us about the courses, the apps, coaching, memberships, what's going to be the best for you, if anything. You can chat with one of our experts there. Down here we have our weekly economic calendar that you can have a look at. We've got it from fxstreet.com/economic calendar, so you can go to that link and play about with the filters. What we've filtered is high impact news. So what are the scheduled reports that are due to come out that could create high volatility? That's what we want to know. So again, if you're really risk averse, then you'll use this to say, okay, let's say today being Thursday, US dollar news coming out in the morning, pound news coming out later on. You might say, I'm going to avoid US dollar trades and pound trades. You might say, I won't trade US stocks today, or I won't trade British stocks today, or something like that. You may say, okay, now that I know that there's going to be high volatility, I'm deliberately going towards that because I love the volatility and I'll try and catch those small moves. That's valid, more risky, but valid. It could be somewhere in between where you say, I'm still going to trade it, but I'm going to reduce my risk percentage, or I'm going to reduce the amount of trades than I would normally place. But at least you have the information here to know when and on what volatility. Okay, so any other questions, you can go to tradewithufos.com/Becky. Get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top there. You can book one-on-one coaching with me if you'd like to, or you can come and ask a question here in this public setting and I will answer it in this public setting so that other people get the answer and other people learn from it as well. So I'll be back tomorrow morning with the market commentary for tomorrow. Hopefully this is helpful and expands on the email that you guys have got and makes a little bit more sense. I hope you have a great trading day today. I'll see you in the morning.